Hi, third graders, Miss Whitford here, and I thought I'd come to you from my back porch since it is a gorgeous day outside. I wanted to take you through my fraction project and show you all the different things that your fraction project should have in it when you do it. Okay, so first of all, I have my whole fraction. So this is my whole fraction right here. That's the first thing you need. So you need your object, and so I have a life form yoga mat. It's a life form yoga mat. I've divided it into 5 equal parts. So 5 out of 5 equals 1 whole. So that's the first part you need to show what 1 whole would be equal to. So my 1 whole is the life form yoga mat. All right, let's go to the next page. Here we go. Okay, so now I have my fraction. So I took a Bitmoji of Miss Whitford and I put the Bitmoji on 1/5 of the yoga mat. So if you want to think of it as like this part is shaded in. So the Mrs. Whitford Bitmoji is on 1/5 of the yoga mat, and that means that 4/5 of the yoga mat does not have a Mrs. Whitford Bitmoji. That's it. So, like, think about what fraction you want to talk about when you talk about your fraction. Like, is it a part if you're doing a cake? Is it what you've eaten? Is it what is left over? Something like that. Okay. So the next thing you need to do is show your fraction on a number line. So you just make a number line like this, partition it into the number of spots, number of spaces. So since I broke my fraction up into fifths, my yoga mat or my fraction line also broken up into fifths. Look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 equal spots, 0/5, 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, and you guessed it, 5/5. Okay, so now I want to show you how I came up with some equivalent fractions. So my fraction is 1/5, and I found an equivalent fraction which is 2/10. So the way I found that is I have these fraction bars, and I found 1/5. So this is 1/5 right here, and I was looking down to see is there anything exactly the same size. Oh my gosh. Also, 2/10, 1/10, and 2/10 are exactly the same size as 1/5. Like if I took this 1/5 block out, it would be exactly the same size as 2 of the 1/10 or 2/10. Um, and it is also equivalent to 3/15. So for that one, I use multiplication. I multiplied the numerator and the denominator by the same number. So I multiplied the 1, which is the numerator, times 3 to get 3. And I multiplied the 5, which is the denominator, also by 3. 5 times 3 is 15, which is how I got that equivalent fraction. For your project, you only need to do one equivalent fraction, but I thought might as well do two because I love fractions. All right, and then here is my fraction paragraph. So this is just everything with what I did. This is basically how I made my fraction project. So I started with 1 whole yoga mat, and I partitioned my yoga mat into 5 equal parts. The denominator of my fraction is 5 because that is the total number of parts my whole is broken into. I put a Bitmoji of me on one part of the mat, so 1/5 of the mat had a Mrs. Whitford Bitmoji. My numerator is 1 because only one part of the mat has a Bitmoji on it. If I had done 2 parts of the mat with a Bitmoji, then my numerator would be 2 because that's the part I'm talking about. I found my first equivalent fraction by using fraction bars. I looked at 1/5. I found something else that was exactly the same size as 1/5, and that was 2/10. Then I used multiplication to find my third equivalent fraction. I multiplied my numerator by 3 and my denominator by 3, and I got 3/15 because 1 times 3 is 3 and 5 times 3 is 15. And that is my fraction project story. Then my last page, I just thought I would include a little picture that says I love fractions. So that's your fraction project. Those are the different things that you should have in your fraction project. You should have, I'll go back over to, maybe I can, let me see, hold on. Okay, just wanted to go back over and show the different parts of my fraction project. So you should have your 1 whole, like show what your 1 whole is and how you've divided it up. Then one fraction that you're talking about. For me, it was 1/5. Then show that fraction on a number line. Show that show an equivalent fraction, and then explain all of the different things that you did to find to create your fraction project. That's basically it. So I cannot wait to see what you guys come up with. This is going to be so awesome. Have so much fun with your fraction project, you guys.